Hello, and welcome to Saddleback College. This tutorial will be about using ESL software at Saddleback's Language Lab. It's located in LRC 202. The first thing you need to know is where it's located. If you go to the LRC, which is the Learning Resource Center, and go up the stairs, you will find it on the second floor. If you walk down the hallway, you'll see a sign to your left. It will say Library and Learning Resource Center. Keep walking down that hall, and on your left, you will see an information booth. Behind that information booth is an assistant who can help you with logging into the Language Lab, finding your username and your password, and help you with the software that's contained within the lab. If you go between the two metal posts and walk straight back towards the window, you will see a computer. These are the login computers. You use these computers to enter your student ID number. This keeps track of the time that you're in the lab. If you are in an ESL class that requires a lab, you must log into this computer. Enter your 6-digit student ID number. Just make sure that when you finish your session, you go back to this computer and you log out. Once you've done that, you can turn around and look at any of the 40 computers that are part of the Language Lab. The Language Lab computers are designated by a red sticker and can only be used by Language Lab students. Take any seat that's available. Once you sit down, you can go ahead and go through another login process. It's going to require your username and your password. Your username is your first initial of your first name and your last name, a number that's been given to you by the college, and then at saddleback.edu or at ivc.edu, depending on where you registered for college. In this case, we'll use a made-up name, sjones05 at saddleback.edu. You also need to enter your password. Your password is that 4-digit number that you used when you first enrolled to the college. You may have changed that password since then, and if you have, enter that password. But most likely, it will be the 4-digit number that you chose when you applied to the college. In this case, we're just going to use 4321 as part of our example. Once you log in, you're going to get a screen that asks you to accept the computer use policy. Go ahead and click OK. This tutorial is going to go over 3 major areas of the Language Lab software that you might find of interest. First is the activities found in the ESL folder. The ESL folder will contain grammar practice at all levels, games that reinforce lessons learned, writing exercises with a focus on grammar structure, as well as sentence, paragraph, and essay development. You will use this folder if you've been enrolled in an ESL grammar course that is tied to the lab, or what we call a co-requisite with the lab, or you can use the ESL folder if you just want to drop into the lab and practice your grammar. This is how you get into that folder. From the desktop, hit the Start menu, which has been designated by the red arrow. When you click on the Start menu, you will see a bunch of folders that go straight up on the computer screen. What you want to do is you want to click the one that says ESL. The ESL folder is the one that you'll use most often, and you can see that by the red circle around the ESL folder. The next thing that will happen is a menu will come up, and this is the software that we have in for grammar. We have Fundamentals of English Grammar by Azar, or FEG Interactive for short, an FOG series, which is Focus on Grammar, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, so there's all the levels of Focus on Grammar. We have Grammar Sense Interactive and the Longman Interactive, and the other two we'll go into later. So just for an example, we're going to click on Fundamentals of English Grammar, the FEG Interactive, and just take a look at an exercise or two in there. Once you do that, you will have a screen that comes up. Whether it's FEG or FOG, you're going to be asked to log in. Now, if you're very new to this, you're going to be asked to fill in a new student screen. So click here is where the red ellipsis is, and you can sign in as a new student. You'll only have to do this one time though, so make sure you write down your username and password once you fill out the new screen. The new screen looks like this. You create your own username and password, and your first name and your last name. You click Save, and once you do that, the Fundamentals of English Grammar will open up. The best thing to do if you want to explore this software is in the right-hand corner, there's an outline. Go ahead and click the outline, and you will see all of the activities that are within Fundamentals of English Grammar. And there are many. You can see that this is just a short cross-section of how many things that you could learn in just this one grammar software alone. So for example, if we were to choose gerunds and infinitives, which is something that many ESL students like to learn more about, you can go to charts or activities on the infinitives and gerunds. And for example, you might want to first learn about the ing gerund, and the software will take you through the instructional side, and then you will go through several practice exercises that help you master this particular exercise and activity. Other things that you can do in this particular software is that you can play games. And games is a fun way of reinforcing things that you've learned. So for example, you might want to do a game that allows you to look at spelling or word order or the functions or the matchmaker. So what you would do is you click on Game Zone, and from the Game Zone you would be given that menu. What would you like to do? So let's take a look at Function Finder just as an example. And in Function Finder, let's say ability and possibility using modals is maybe something you'd like to do. So you click that as part of the game, and then the game will ask you to choose the speed in which you want to be able to handle this. So just for this example, we'll choose the medium speed, but you could go slow, especially if you're a beginner. Once you do that, the game will start. And as you can see from the video, you will be given a phrase and it will come across the screen, and you must quickly read it and then choose whether this is something of present ability, future ability, or future possibility. And you can just challenge yourself and you can restart the game, but it will keep score for you. Red is an error and green is something that you get right. So it is a fun way to reinforce your grammar learning.